Here we go on the last Living the Mystical Life Daily webcast of the year 2017. Come on and get seated into the chat room. Yes, we are no video today, but we will be back with video in the new year. We ran into a little bit of technical glitch when we're broadcasting live from Barbados. It cannot always support the video process. But get yourself seated in on this December the 21st. Happy Solstice, everyone! Who has been naughty and who has been nice? Nice meaning you've done your ceremonies and contract revocations, and naughty, stuck in mediocrity a whole year round and trying to do one ceremony on the solstice the last 9 or 10 days of the year. So in the chat room, if you are a naughty person, put in a 1, and if you are a nice person, put in 2. Mwahaha. So everyone that is here, we are going to be talking about the solstice and what you've done this year. We will be taking a handful of calls today. This is the last Living the Mystical Life Daily webcast of the year 2017. Beginning 2018, there will be a new show schedule where the live shows will be, everyone will have them ahead of time, and it'll be set for the year because we hear about consistency. So everything that is here in the ever-present moment is there for your ever-present moment of gratification. Not necessarily instant gratification, but gratify your need to search, feel, understand. Now, for the last 2 months, we have been putting out shows that I have been doing with Andre Hodge, Servant of Truth, and we have had some incredible responses. And we want to say we are going to be continuing this material because there are many out there that want to know what is going on here or there. And a lot of this material that Andre has put together is from knowing the shows like the back of his hand over years. Andre was our first producer, and now he's putting together these videos that are incredible teaching processes. Today is the solstice. It is the shortest day of the year, the least amount of sun. So if you had done a summer solstice process, put a 1 in the chat room, meaning on the longest day of the year, you were doing ritual and ceremony and bringing in the light. And if you didn't do a summer solstice ceremony, put in a 2. Let's get an understanding here of what's going on. Many of you heard me make the terminology. 90% of the listeners are drive-by listeners. They listen here or there and do. Hello? And they do a few things here or there. Today is one of those days you've got to put down the instant gratification, put down the telephone and the TV and all those other things that are part of the global infrastructure of distraction, and say you're doing it for yourself and yourself alone. It isn't a lone journey into your spirit. It isn't a lone journey into self-discovery. And that is why many people have trouble doing their own ceremonies individually of themselves. They are codependent on others' happiness, codependent on other people's energy, but still codependent. 2018 is the new year. Many of you heard me all year round. 2017 is the year hope dies. On December 31st, when the New York ball drops around the world, hope is dead. It is no longer a flopping fish, thinking it can jump back into the water and be alive. Hope from 2012 is dead. There will be no reevaluation of the currency. There will be no global catastrophe. There will be no Trump leaving office. None of that's going to happen. Just like I've said since 2012, that there will be nothing happening tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after that. Because we are in a time where we must understand nothing is happening until you individually make it happen on your own, in your own bubble of reality. I reiterate that nothing will happen tomorrow. There will be no global currency revaluation. There will be no aliens coming down to rescue you. There will be no inner alliance or dark companies taking over the world. All of the fear porn is just fear porn to get you into fear, to harvest energy from you. So stop listening to the bullshit. Stop following the blogs that say it's going to happen tomorrow. And remember, nothing happens tomorrow. Nothing at all. Nothing will happen tomorrow and the day after that and the year after that and the year after that until you see people out in the same scale and size of the 1960s and the 1970s marching in a different way. Until you see 1 million people in all 50 states and every capital marching, it is junk. There is no awakening. It ain't happening. Why? Because it's only you individually that can make a groundswell happen. I use this energy, this motivation here to help you understand you must be on your own path. Every year there is a solstice and an equinox, the longest and the shortest day of the year. Next year, are you going to put on your calendar, you are going to take time to do solstice and equinox rituals? Will you follow through? Because if you don't, you're just faking spirituality. If you're not chronicling your journey, you're not writing it down, you are faking the process. It requires commitment and courage of the self to follow through. Over the many years, I have given all sorts of equinox and solstice motivation speeches, light languages, direct actions, this and that. This year, I put the ball in your court. For those of you who've been listening for the whole year, or for those of you who've only been listening for a couple weeks, the ball is in your court today. It is your game and your game alone. No one's going to come and play a codependent game with you if you want to talk with Spirit. Spirit is not codependent. Spirit is independently co-creative. For as long as you think codependency is the way of action of Spirit, you have failed miserably at the greater understanding of who you are, and what you came here to do. Codependency is one of the greatest destructive things on the path to self-discovery. It means you cannot discover yourself without another as a medium to your happiness. You must find individual happiness. You must make the rituals mean something to you. You must speak the words of power. You must create the fire. You must carve out time, and only you. Because if you don't, nothing's going to happen, and another year is going to go by, and you're going to keep watching all those blogs that say, it's happening tomorrow, the Alliance this, Corey Good that, David Wilcock this, Joe Blow's blog that. All a bunch of goddamn garbage. You won't often hear me say that stuff. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. And that is what you're dealing with. And all of those positive, gory, good followers that aren't doing their rituals and ceremonies, guess what? Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. If any of those guys that I've lumped into all garbage categories truly wanted to make an awakening, they'd be speaking the same fucking language. They'd tell you to get up and off your ass, make prayers, and stop listening to the fucking fear porn. The United States military is not going to save you. Corey Good is not going to save you. David Wilcock's not going to save you. Any of the others aren't going to save you, because only you can save yourself. Save yourself from mediocrity and domination and control. Only you can discover the power of prayer for yourself. Only you can separate from the Cobra bullshit that says it's happening tomorrow with stranglet bombs and this, all a bunch of bullshit meant to track you in. Earlier this year, I did a spoof show with JP where I had my voice altered, just like Cobra. People recognized it was me, and there were other people that didn't. And oh my God, this is the new guy with the voice distortion. And all the stuff went off. It was so uniquely funny because I was Dr. Fear for that particular episode of a spoof. Okay? I could so easily use what I know for fear and get an audience 10,000 times any of the amalgamated groups that are out there. But I don't want a bunch of fear followers. I want self-illuminated masters willing to expose their own limitations for themselves and learn the unlimited point of view. By exposing their limitations and researching them, what they are and how to heal them, they're able to go to the next level of understanding. Now, this time last year, I put out the union communion, alchemical union and communion collective consciousness strike. It is now 1 year old of a revocation, a masterful piece that has now spawned legs and arms and multidimensional fingers and toes reaching into every timeline, galaxy, and dimension. Now, for those who have been studying this material the last year, who have been using the revocations, you know the power of that individual piece. What comes next year is the next level of choice. We are now offering a mentorship program. That's right, a mentorship. First time I've offered a public mentorship program for those that want to learn to read the Akashic record like I do, for those that want to fully explore the sacred neutral point of view, for those who want to take contract revocation to a whole new level so they can spiritually journey to the stars and beyond, to have a greater understanding of what this world is truly about, to have the individual skill sets to not have charge and polarity affect you in any way, shape, or form. To be the sacred neutral observer. So you can filter through the greatness of the Akashic record and search without instant gratification guiding you to a materialistic, consumeristic point of view. So I challenge you out there. Those that are ready to take up the next level, go to the webpage, andrewbartzis.com, and you will see an individual tab titled Membership. I also have a handful of sessions left, slots left over for the end of this year. When I traveled here to Barbados, I changed my schedule around, and now I have a handful, like 4 or 5 slots that are open. For those that want to have it at the end of the year, you can contact MPA at galactichistorian.com. Once again, that's MPA at galactichistorian.com if you want to have an end-of-the-year session. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've had countless people come to me that are wanting longer and longer sessions. This is why I created the mentorship program. So those of you out there who want to have a mini boot camp in the course, want to have a one-on-one with me where they get to go through the nuts and bolts, contact MPA at Galactic Historian. We can facilitate you for the end of the year. We also have a small special going on. If you want to get an hour session and haven't purchased the course yet, contact MPA at galactichistorian.com, and we'll offer you an end-of-the-year special where you'll get an hour session and something off on the actual course itself. So we have put this forward as a layer of teachings. So Robert, my infamous, fabulous, stupendous, miraculous producer in the background, let's go to the Wheel of Callers and see who is in the countdown for the end of the year.
Okay, first caller is from Richmond, Virginia.
As Robert is muted, drinking his isogenic shake, going, oh, is he asking me? Robert. Hello. Can anyone hear me? Robert. Oh, Robert is typing. Caller, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, where are you? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Amaranta from Portland.
Hi, how you doing? Amaressa, as you said?
It's Amaranta, or Ama. Can we say Ama?
Ama. How you doing today, Ama?
I'm doing amazing. It's a beautiful day. The sun is very sparkly, radiant. We had our first frost overnight here in Portland, so everything is sparkly. Yeah.
So how can I help you today on this winter solstice, shortest day of the year? Have you done any ritual or ceremony today?
I am preparing a gathering with people that I've invited to my home tonight in the yard. We have a fire that I'm going to do. I've done a few fire ceremonies, and I actually am of Mayan lineage, and according to my star chart, one of my responsibilities is to pray with the people, and I'm a fire keeper according to my star chart. So I met you once at the Living the Mystical Life Daily in Seattle, and I've had a very mystical life since then. And I just wanted to ask, where am I at with my practice, and also if you have any information regarding my lineage, because there's sort of shame in my country of origin around being Indigenous, so a lot of the information is lost.
Okay. So what was your experience at the Living the Mystical Life Daily 2017 event? What was your big awakening?
Well, I had feedback from you that I'm part of Jaguar Clan, and I gave you a print of a jaguar painting, I believe. And so I've just come to understand that this art that I make is definitely kind of maybe like a portal or a pinpoint, and I like to spread them around so that different people have them and it becomes like a grid. And then I've also just accepted my role as a organizer of things. So I had like a project regarding a big mural, and then we had prayer ceremony with the public. So we lured the public in with like an art show, but then we took advantage of the time to pray together and to have ceremony.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So where you're at right now is, one second, let me just tune in. What year were you born? Let me do this right.
1980. Born October 13th, 1980.
All right, so you are on the fast track for awareness change for 2018. 2017 was a big preparation for you where you needed to get all the garbage out of your field and all the unsovereignty out of your field. There's still a small amount that's there. It's part of growing up. Charge and polarity and contrast are absolutely necessary for growing in the greater wisdom of who you are. So over the next, let's just say 15 days for you from now until mid-January, you have got to use your ceremonial time for looking at old charge and old polarity so that you can have a greater understanding of how 2018 is going to offer you a number of forks in the road to go back to good old charge and polarity and contrast, or to move on to the next level where spirit is going to communicate to you through the jaguar paintings and through the next sets of paintings and the next sets of paintings and the next sets of paintings until such a time that your rituals and ceremonies you're painting in front of the fires.
Okay.
I also see you painting people in painted face rituals in which you can do great and powerful and potent healings just by painting their face and bringing their true spirit form out by coloring their facial features, which is something that is very ancient and old throughout history and through many traditions.
I've been a school teacher for 4 years, and that's part of what I would have the kids do, is sit so that I could do face painting.
Now you're going to do spiritual face painting, similar to like the Native American concept, but at a whole new level, where you're going to allow spirit to guide you to literally draw geometric structures over the face, the upper body, the whole body in some scenarios, and it's going to be an actual healing modality for you.
Okay. Thank you.
So about your Mayan lineage, it is very much trying to come out of you. Now, it's something you got to understand. The Mayans did have a very big bout with cannibalism.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you say more about that?
What have you done to get the taste of flesh or vengeance out of your reality?
I've been unsure as far as whether or not I should eat meat anymore. So I didn't eat meat for 3 years, but then I had like digestive situation where I feel like you've said to other people that they aren't digesting protein, and I feel that that applies to me also. I'm not sure if that's in fact the case, but I've gone back to eating meat. And then as far as vengeance, I don't think I'm very spiteful, and I don't think I actualize any, resentment that I may have towards anyone.
Your lineage does, though. Your lineage does.
Right. There seems to be kind of I don't know if there's something disharmonious on my mother's side, but a lot of the women are kind of having a hard time. They're not partnered, or they're just kind of struggling because.
Is it fair to say that they eat their mate? control their mate, dominate their mate?
I didn't grow up with the family very closely because my mother died when I was 6. But from observation, the women are probably, matriarchs and, good housekeepers. But one cousin had an unfaithful partner, and now she used to have a bunch of abundance, and now that's kind of been changed. So,
Well, I'm trying to make a metaphor for you to understand. You're not an actual cannibal. You're not actually eating human flesh. But there is a metaphor of you eating your own flesh as a lineage or others, consuming their energy instead of creating your own light. And I want you to contemplate these words over the next couple of weeks. Where and when in your past did you consume your own energies or other human energies, not like a vampire or anything like that or a person, but you needed to consume energy because you weren't making your own?
well, I definitely haven't really been raised to be independent. So, not having that push from a mom in your life and, not having a lot of means or resources growing up, you just kind of learn to survive. And sometimes that requires the help and encouragement from others, but it's not like in a malicious way.
Well, what I'm calling you out to do, is to make a ritual and ceremony of self-observation of that actual aspect which you have done in the past. 2018 is going to be a series of forks in the road for you. Can you create solely your own light, or do you have to use an ounce of someone else's light to make 50 ounces of light?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got to create your own light this year. You cannot use anyone else's light.
Okay.
Okay? That's the greater challenge. You also have some health aspects that you have to look at too. So being vegan for a while has created an imbalance in your intestinal tract, and you got to find the happy medium. Did you quit drinking alcohol too when you became vegan?
Yes, I kind of was on a more spiritual body situation, yes.
How much was your alcohol consumption before you quit?
I would just party with friends before. Now I don't really party with friends anymore, as the way I did before. I mean, I would sit there and drink like a 40 of beer on the weekends in someone's garage, like when I was younger. But then over the years, it would just be like, okay, we're grown ups now, we're going to have wine with dinner, or now it's just like, just socially.
All right, so first thing first, I almost never, ever, ever, ever tell anyone to drink. But there is something in your frequency that is actually asking for alcohol, something positive. So, what I'm going to say is you need to create a new relationship with alcohol. Maybe you need to brew your own beer, brew your own wine, or brew your own hard alcohol. They're all easy things to learn to do. And over the year, you've probably heard me talk and do sessions about other people who have had not necessarily alcohol issues, but need to create a different relationship with alcohol. When you became vegan and cut out the alcohol and changed the way, it actually changed something internally in you, that you need that energy. You really do. So it's changing the relationship that you have with alcohol. And if that means you have to become sacred with the creation of your own beer, you can go out to Walmart and buy a $50 beer kit and have, a gallon and a half of your own beer. It's a matter of, are you going to bottle it? What are you going to do with it? You can put ceremonies and rituals within it, contract revocation. So every time you're consuming that alcohol, your relationship with it is spirit, because alcohol is spirits, distilled spirits.
I resonate with that a lot. My great-grandfather traveled from Munich, Germany to El Salvador, and him and his brothers established the first and only brewery that exists in the whole nation. And that relative was,
Yeah.
I think, if you could validate this, that relative was in fact assassinated. And then because his daughter, my grandmother, was indigenous, she was forbidden from inheriting any business rights. So all of the 3 brothers who that didn't happen to. They're very wealthy millionaires. And then our descendants from our great-grandfather are not millionaires.
So you use the word assassinated. I use the word killed. He was killed by someone else that had intention and purpose. But it wasn't just about the brewery. There were other things that were going on in that era too.
Right.
Land ownership. It was more about land ownership than the business. Yeah. And then the mineral rights that are under the land. That's what it was about. Okay. Does that bring charge and polarity into you?
I am in a place of acceptance of it. There's definitely a lot of charge that's on my father's side regarding it. Like, they were raised with a bit of more abundance in their lives, and then, that eventually ran out. So yeah,
but they could have made their own abundance.
Yeah, yes, and some have.
They didn't, though. So maybe you need to start your own Portland Mayan brewery.
Okay.
Portland just happens to be an area where thousands of microbreweries are everywhere. Thousands. Save up some money for a liquor license. I believe in Portland you're allowed to brew 200 gallons of beer a year without having to have an alcohol tax ID, and 40 gallons of hard alcohol a year without having a tax. I think it's pretty general from the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, what you're allowed to brew yourself before you're considered a business. Okay.
And then I've been in the, speaking of that license, I've been in the cannabis industry out here, but I'm not really certain, like, what the purpose is yet, or why I was led and guided to be in this industry.
All right. Are you a trimmer or are you a grower?
I work for a distribution company where under one warehouse and one license, there's a bunch of inventors of products, and we help market and distribute them.
All right. So you're really the middleman in the industry to get it out there. You're not a grower and you're not a trimmer.
For now, but I know of the folks, and I have trimmed before, and I have grown my own plants before, just at home.
I would like you to grow your own plants this coming year, and I want you to look into making something called cannabinol. Have you ever heard of that?
Cannabinol, yes.
That's where you infuse cannabis into your beer.
Okay. Now it's making sense. Got it.
Now it's making sense. And you could have your own cannabis microbrewery at a high potency level that can be labeled medicinal value instead of recreational value. And that is its own marketing term, because you're going to have something like a beer at 18% alcohol beer. Have you ever had a beer that's 18% alcohol?
I've had some high IBUs, but I don't remember if it goes that high.
No. So right now, the highest alcohol that's for sale out there is done by Samuel Adams, and there's a beer called Utopia. And it's brewed in actually wooden kegs that had whiskey in it previously, and they let it cure for a year. It's like $700 a bottle or $40 a shot now. It's pretty expensive. It's very much worthwhile for you to go and taste it. Find some place that has it. You will notice that not many have it because it's a extremely expensive alcohol, a beer, and it's golden. It's golden. It does not look like a beer. It tastes like a beer. It froths like a whiskey at the same time. It's unique, unique, unique. And what I'd like for you to do is to explore higher percentage alcohol beers that have the higher percentage cannabis infusion and CBD infusion into it. That right there is going to take the Rick Simpson method, which is saying people need to take 1,000 milligrams of THC a day to reduce their cancers. How about having one beer at 18% and 700 milligrams of THC and CBD split into it? Okay? Alcohol is a direct transference to the system, too. So a very small dropper can be put under the tongue of a child who has severe autism. Severe. Because the alcohol will go right through their tongue, right through their under their tongue, right into their body, and it'll transfer what? CBD, THC. Patients with Alzheimer's, all sorts of people that can use the THC and the CBD to their advantage, and the alcohol is the medium. You just got to find the right taste factor so it doesn't taste like Robitussin.
Okay. Yes, because some of those taste kind of, yeah.
Nasty. It tastes
I'll try
nasty.
this one. Yeah. Wow, amazing. Very amazing. Well, I have my work cut out for me. And any advice for my ceremony tonight? I have a hide that I found of I think it's a mountain lion. And I feel strongly right now in my body just talking about it. So I'm going to lay it out as part of the altar. And
so make sure that when people come over today, that you clear them before they come to the fire. Sage them as they come into your house, or 100 feet or 50 feet away from the fire. Make sure everyone has had a energy clearing ceremony before they enter the prayer grounds. Okay? And then at the end, sage them before they go too, and make sure everyone understands that for a long period of time, it will be a ceremonial fire. When the ceremony ends, it can then become a recreational fire that has reflections of a ceremonial fire. You don't need to have a stick in your ass and that the fire goes ceremony from beginning to end. Because there will be people there that'll want to smoke in front of the fire, eat in front of the fire. During that time that it's a ceremonial fire, there is no smoking, there is no drinking, even water. You got to have all of that away so people are in their fullness of focus. You could also take a string or something and make a giant extra circle, with a couple sticks to hold the string up, so when they leave that particular area that's 50 feet around the fire, that they can go and smoke and they can go and drink, and that there's a clear delineated line. Once you cross this line, leave your drama on the other side, leave your alcohol, your brew, your cigarette, whatever it is on the other side. Okay? Print out the alchemical union and communion consciousness strike. Look for more and more people to say it in unity where y'all can speak it together. Okay? Try recording everyone speaking it too.
Okay.
The shaman's death. That's another great one to do. Anything that's from the course, speak it in front of the fire. The entire course can be spoken about, at a pretty fast pace at about 10 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I still have that course material. Thank you.
Take away the energy harvesting. Iterate to the people why we're doing this ceremony. On this shortest day of the year, we're bringing all this light in by making sure the energy harvesting of the previous year doesn't continue to the next year.
Okay.
That's what you do for your ceremonies.
That is a beautiful ceremony.
Yeah. So how many people are coming?
Not very many this time. I was only able to get the word out recently to maybe 5 to 7 people.
Okay. Are they spiritual people, or are these a bunch of newbies?
Half and half.
Okay. You have to be very careful with the newbies. You do not want to overpitch and oversell, but what you do want to do is explain to them the difference between a sacred fire and a recreational fire. Okay? And don't be a zealot if somebody screws up. Okay? But just reiterate over and over again. This is the line of delineation. You go past this line, you're in a ceremonial fire. When you're on the other side of the line, it's okay. Just give us a little bit of peace if we're focused. Don't be screaming and carrying on. Don't have your cell phone inside the circle. Don't be texting to someone in there. Take away the instant gratification topics. Take away the materialism and consumerism topics. Don't let Trump be the focus of conversation. because some people don't know how to talk in a ceremonial fire. So they bring up what they think is spiritual.
Right.
You are the shaman. You're the head of the ceremony. Make sure you give offerings to the ancestors. And the newbies that are out there, teach them about ancestors and how to give offerings to them. You can sacrifice one of your home cooking pots to boil water over there, or make a second fire that's very, very small, just enough to simmer a pot of water on it, or you get a gas grill or something, and you start adding offerings into it. A little piece of spice, a little chopped up onion, a little chicken base, some bones. You could ask everyone to come over with one simple thing you could add to the cooking pot. Yeah. Just don't be throwing McDonald's cheeseburgers in there.
Right.
Ancestors don't like McDonald's.
Or Burger King.
Or Subway or any of that other stuff.
Okay. Any special significance to this mountain lion hide that I came across?
Leadership. That is why that hide has come to you. Are you ready to be a leader of the pack, the pride?
Yes, I am.
Then that's why the hide's there.
I need to get access to more resources, so more income, a grant, kind of time to stop worrying about the basics of survival.
Well, I gave you a recipe, literally, of cannabinol,
yeah.
And you're a marketer.
Yeah, exactly. Cannabinol.
Okay? You can make a fortune just in the cancer industry alone. A fortune. All right. The Rick Simpson method has proved that if you take certain volumes of cannabis, your tumors go away. And it also proves to the $100 billion a year cancer industry, they'll never cure cancer. Alcohol is as old as fishing in the industry of creation. Cannabis is as old as history. They've been brewing it together for centuries. Now you can take all of the information from the Rick Simpson method and go, here is a way for you to consume 10 times the amount of THC and CBD, all in one little bottle that may get you a little drunk, but guess what? It'll do the job, and it'll be far easier than you having to smoke for 25 joints a day and take the little pellet that knocks your ass out. Okay? Cancer patients need quality of life.
They do, yes.
Okay?
Celebrate their life, whatever's going on. My nephew has cancer right now. He has leukemia. He's in the hospital.
Well, gives you a little bit more motivation then.
Absolutely.
All right, darling, I must move on to the next caller. Thank you so much for calling in.
Bless you, and thank you. Goodbye.
You're welcome. Have a great one. All right, Robert, the next caller. Are you there?
Can you hear me, Andrew?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, next caller is Amy from New York.
Amy from New York, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing today, Amy?
I'm so excited and grateful to be talking with you right now.
So what are you doing for the solstice?
I have a couple options. I've been doing work with just looking at my mother wound and my inner child and a lot of things that have come through this past year. And a friend invited me over to do some games with them, someone I haven't seen in a long time, someone from high school. And I was thinking, I wonder if this is an opportunity to kind of honor my child spirit, and then if I should maybe do some ceremony after that, or if I should just commit to doing ceremony and maybe use a different day to go have fun. So I'm not sure what.
I understand the dilemma. So when is the last time you did an actual ceremony yourself?
I've been doing various degrees of ceremony this past year. Last night, it was a little like just burning like some boxes and things we had around the house, and a few items to just release that had some energy from the past. I remember wasn't good when I purchased them. So I guess maybe technically yesterday was a little bit of a ceremony. I offered some Palo Santo to the fire, and was really working on grounding my body to the earth more. So.
When you say you offered Palo Santo to the fire, you threw a hunk of Palo Santo into the fire?
Yeah, it was a small piece.
So that is a no-no of a no-no of a no-no of a no-no.
Oh,
and this is for anyone else out there.
okay.
Never throw your Palo Santo in the fire. Ever, 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 ever.
Oh,
It is a
thank you for
big
telling me.
respect for Palo Santo, because it is meant to be burnt very, very slow for you to smell the smoke and inhale it and allow it to be a part of your expanding frequency.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. That's important.
It's okay. It's a little bit of a thing. So these games that you wanted to go play, what are the games?
I don't know. I think people just bring different games over, so I'm not quite sure. Like, I don't know, maybe board games or card games or something. I don't know exactly.
And the other people that are going to be there, do you know them too?
I don't.
So there's one person there that is invited, that was a high school type friend or young friend, and the rest are people you don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Are you looking for a date or a man to join your life?
No, I'm feeling like I just want some more social people time. I've been alone for a while lately, so.
Okay. Why are you alone?
There's been a lot of transitions this past year, and I think it speaks to a lot of different wounds that I've still carrying, and I don't exactly know all the answers for that.
So my answer to you is do both tonight.
Okay.
So before you go, you do a ritual that is saying, for the next couple hours while I am at my friend's house, I am a child and a kid again, and this is my ritual of the solstice. And then when you return, you close the ceremony by saying, I have been the kid again. What have I learned? And it's okay to drink, and it's okay to do all the things that you normally do at this party, because it's a ritual and celebration of your childhood.
Yeah, okay.
You might just meet somebody out there. Mr. Right, or at least Mr. Right now.
Maybe.
And if you meet Mr. Right now, don't allow yourself to deny it. Embrace it. Lust can lead to love.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I'll just say you need a winter solstice orgasm.
That would be amazing. Yes.
Oh, need your feet and toes twisting and a turning.
Oh, it's definitely an area I've been wanting to do more work on, is sacred sexuality for sure.
Well, then make that a part of your ceremony before you leave. But I want to find somebody that can do the deed.
Okay, I'll put that out there.
Okay. Put it out there for exactly what you want.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The endurance, the ability to follow through, and the romance and passion. Okay, you don't want someone to just pull your pants up, slam, bam, thank you, ma'am.
No. Nope, not enough. Oh my gosh. Oh. I had a question about my moon time. I'm currently on my moon time right now, and I've done some different work this past year, especially with moon blood and healing, and I still find myself each month. I usually have some pretty strong cramps, like at least a day of just my energy's really coming down, and I'm really feeling a lot. And I'm wondering if there's anything extra or things I'm needing to release, or what, maybe more information about what that's about.
Just a second, let me tune in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so a lot of the cramps are actually sexual frustration.
Okay, that is not surprising, and that's okay.
Your previous relationships were not that satisfying, I take it.
No.
All right, so I'm just gonna pry because it's the solstice. What level of unsatisfactory? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, they fall asleep during sex. Horrible kind of,
So 10 being the worst?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I don't know a number to, maybe like, I don't know, 6 or 7. It's varied between various partners, but.
Well, I'm going to say that the majority of your cramps are from full-on sexual frustration. Your kundalini hasn't been able to arise, and in your own self-practice, you're not actually engaging the next level of energy creation that can come with positive masturbation.
So, what do I do about that?
There are a handful of things that you can do that involve, finding the right partner versus the right tool, the right thing that you can go out and get. That, there's all sorts of, aids out there.
Mm-hmm.
You to go to the lover's shop. Every town's got one.
Okay, that's an idea.
There is one out there called the WeVibe that has its own remote control. You can look it up, the WeVibe Sync. It is a clitoral stimulator and a G-spot stimulator in a U-shaped that has a remote control that allows you to be hands-free to increase speed and lower speed and change programs. As well as, it hooks direct to your cell phone. Your partner can use it from around the world. He can be on one side of the world and you could have it in you and he can control the speed.
Whoa, wow. I did not know that existed.
That's incredible amount that's out there.
Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm learning so much. This is awesome.
So, as well as other, let's just say, pleasure tools for a variety of needs.
Mm-hmm.
Your need is you need to have an orgasm, one that makes your toes curl and your mind shut off and you be in full orgasmic release. I don't even know if you've had a full orgasm in your life.
I don't know either. I've had little ones for sure.
Squirted?
Have
you ever squirted?
Yes.
Okay. What did that feel like for you?
Oh, I thought you said assorted, like different ones.
Squirt, as squirting. No, it is a thing that women do when they reach a high level of eroticism that their innards squirt out like a garden hose.
I have not experienced that, but that sounds awesome.
That is a legacy and a rites of passage every woman should have. Absolutely every woman should have that. Okay? Now, there's a lot of 40-year-old soccer moms out there looking at their husband and going, he can't do it.
Oh. All right.
You asked, and I'm giving you the answers. So during your games process, it's okay to talk about sex with your friends. Do you talk about sex much in your conversations?
Just with my very closest friends, mostly my friend I'm living with right now, Cassie. But
Okay.
It's
Actually have the sex conversation with her about what we've just talked about.
I will. I think she's experienced some different levels of orgasm and has explained them to me before. I'm like, oh, I have not felt that, but yeah, I will do that with her for sure.
Everyone can have it. Everyone, absolutely everyone can have it. Okay? The only thing that's stopping you is you, literally. Okay. It's trusting the environment, trusting the person, trusting the tool, trusting the situation. Trust. Trust enough where you let down. Let down from the projections from others or the projections from yourself.
Yes, that's great advice. That sounds right.
Yeah. You are perfect the way you are right now. You're not too fat, too thin, too this, too that. You're perfect right now.
Yes.
You're beautiful and gorgeous.
Yes, I am.
You need to empower that while you're having the sex.
All right.
You need to make that the ritual of joy.
Oh, yeah.
How many partners have you had total?
Probably like around 12 or 13, I think, at this point.
And the majority of them are ineffective in what they do?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. I mean, I could see, I've been processing through a lot of this lately and going back and seeing my patterns and kind of what I've allowed. And
so what is your
setting
limitation?
my standards higher, basically.
Yeah, your standards are too high.
My standards are too high now.
What about in the past?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it was mixed. I'm not sure.
I think your view of what sex was highly distorted from your very first sexual experience.
Okay, that makes sense.
What was your first experience like? I want you to know right now, you're helping a lot of people. I know you might be a little red and embarrassed. Don't worry, you are helping a lot of people right now.
Okay,
right now.
Awesome.
Okay?
So my first experience was I was 18, I believe, and my partner, whenever we would have sex, we'd have to be under the covers, and it was mostly like him on top, and there was very little, like, I don't remember much talking, just maybe like a little whispers here and there, and then I don't ever remember us reaching orgasm together, and I don't know if that's important, but I mostly would have to have some other, like, I think, I'm trying to remember, like, if I think, like, clitoral stimulation was the only way I could reach any kind of an orgasm in that experience.
Because the other stuff was too painful?
I don't know. I think part of it was I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be like. Again, like my distorted idea of what sex was based on maybe some porn that I had seen in the past, or like the, like the different love stories or romantic movies and whatever you watch. And it was like, what, I didn't exactly know what
Fabio didn't sweep you off the steps and take you up 19 flights of stairs with his giant muscles and throw you down in a pool of lingerie.
Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah, that's not at all what I imagine now.
In your first scenario, why did the covers always have to be on? Who created that? Was that you or is that him? My partner was very self-conscious of himself, had really low self-esteem, and he even verbalized that too. He would even have to have his socks on all the time because he felt so embarrassed of his feet. Okay. So that's still affecting you today.
Wow. Okay.
So one of the things that you can begin to do is look at your 12 partners and begin to make contract revocations for each one's negative habits.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, that.
Huh?
Thank you.
And
Thank you for suggesting that. Yes.
and make invocation for all the positive habits, the ones that did it right.
Yes. Yeah. I can do that.
Okay. Now let me just delve a little deeper here. What year were you born?
1987.
Where were you born?
I was born in Denver, Colorado, July 25th.
And what brings you to New York?
My family moved here when I was a few months old. I've lived in many different places, but most of my life has been in New York. I'm currently here. I got led back to my friend Cassie. Some relationship broke up this past year. I was working with a spiritual teacher and just wasn't really stepping into my own power enough, and just kind of I'm ended up here somehow. So I'm just going with it.
Were you intimate with your teacher?
Like sexually?
Yeah.
No.
Did you want to be? Be brutal here.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe if I did, it was unconsciously. I'm not sure.
I want you to explore this over the next couple weeks. If what you're looking for is a teacher that has the sacred sexuality processes, and that's what you want in your life as a companion, and not somebody who's a man whore either.
Right. Well, this person was a woman, and not that that matters, but I guess I've never explored or been with a woman, so.
Well, it's probably time to check out the other team.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you doing as a job?
Currently I've started making some body butter. This has been like in the past like month here with Cassie. Like body lotion. But my bigger I guess way or job I'd like to have and be doing is music. I've been writing a lot of songs. I've been performing some different shows, and I've explored sound and singing as a healing tool, and so that's my bigger interest.
And how do you make money?
What was that?
How do you actually make money?
Right now, I'm making money with the lotion. Not very much, but it's.
So you've pretty much not had a job for how long then?
Probably. I think my last job was in 2014 in California.
It's an awful long time without a job.
Yes.
And why have you gone so long without a job?
I was in an area that I didn't want to be working in. I didn't know how to. I felt like music was my passion, and that's what I wanted to do and follow. And I was working in the schools at the time, and I didn't want to kind of get sucked into that without actually feeling like that I was honoring what my soul wanted to be doing. So
Who paid your
yeah.
Who paid your bills for the last 4 years?
A lot of that has come from my mother.
Okay.
And so, other people that have supported me. I've done like a work trade situation, things like that.
So I'm going to be brutal here. You need to get out of this. I'm a 18-year-old girl with my head in the clouds. I can be a pop singer.
Uh-huh.
You need to get out and get a job and understand that you can still go do karaoke, you can still write songs, but that's not your full-time position. It is going to keep you stuck, sucking off money from other people and never being empowered yourself.
Okay.
Okay? Get out and get a job. Earn some of your own money.
Any job?
If people still support you, that's fine. You don't have to say no to everything that's coming, but you've got to know the difference between earning your own keep and sucking off of others.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
I'm brutal here for a reason. You're on the verge of a great awakening.
Thank you.
Let's say you're 3 orgasms in a ceremonial way. Great awakening. Powerful awakening. But you got to be empowered.
I do.
You got work ethic.
Yeah.
You're not empowered. You're not. You would have already had most of these issues taken care of.
Yeah.
Actually say that the last 4 years that you haven't had a job, you've been taking steps back every year. It may look like you're charging forward and doing this, and this, but you're not. You're going backwards.
Okay. Well, thank you for being brutally honest. I mean, none of it's surprising.
Listen, I get callers who haven't had a job in 35 years. I get callers who haven't had a job in 10 years. Yours only 4. Okay? You can still make it back.
I can. Yes, I could do it.
You're in New York City. You can get a bartender job in 2 lashes of an eye.
Well, Western New York, closer to Buffalo.
Okay, selling chicken wings, whatever it is that they do there.
Yep, that happens here.
A job at a hot dog stand or a bikini coffee store.
Okay. All right. Got to get on the go get a job game. Really badly.
No, you're going to get a job to empower yourself. It's not a game. Okay? So you can save up money to have dreams again. Are you going to ask Mom for $10,000 to go to Mexico for ayahuasca ceremonies?
No.
Saved your own money up, it'd be a dream, wouldn't it?
No more mom money.
Okay? No, Mom can still assist you here and there. I'm not saying cut everyone off. I'm saying you got to build your own dreams by knowing what you can go out and manifest with your own abundance.
Yeah.
Okay? Buying things for yourself with your own money makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. I feel it.
Okay? Just don't spend it on a gigolo.
Okay. I'll write that as a side note.
Side note, exactly. So any last questions you want to ask?
I have this sensitivity in my teeth in the left side and the bottom that I've tried sensitive toothpaste. I've just been starting doing oil pulling with peppermint, and I'm not sure if I should be doing anything else or if this is just something that's beyond my body that's coming in, or I'm not sure to do about that.
So in the side of your jaw are 3 massive nerve endings that go into the upper and lower jaw and go into the cheekbones and the cheek muscles. And what it is your mastoid bone, the bone that supports your ear, and your occipital, the bone that's the separate bone that supports the back of your head, are completely out of place. And this is extremely common, extremely common. So there are a handful of ways to fix it. One is if it's super fixated, chiropractor, they manipulate your upper atlas and axis, and then slowly after a while your mastoid bone goes back in place. Or you're going to get cranial sacral therapy, where they do myofascial release all around the head and upper body so that the skull can become mobile again and that the sagittal sutures don't have so much pressure on them. All of that teeth pain is from sagittal sutural pressures on the back of your mastoid and occipital.
Oh, could that be part of me clenching my teeth at night?
That's exactly why you clench your teeth at night, which is thus compounding and making it worse and worse and worse.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll look into that.
Yeah. Do you ever have any head injuries?
Not that I can recall lately. I mean, as a child, I had a traumatic birth, but
That's part of it. So have you ever like just fell and maybe slightly bumped your head here or there?
Probably. Yeah.
So what happens is just stress alone the fascia will tighten on the back of the skull and make the sagittal sutures under pressure, and then it'll actually malform the bone itself. And once you take the pressure off the sagittal sutures, the bone can go back to its natural formation.
Okay.
So I recommend cranial sacral therapy with myofascial release so that they can adjust your mastoid bone and then do intraoral work. They're going to stick a finger inside your mouth at the top of your jaw, right where the cheek muscles align with your mandible, and they're going to hit a pressure point in there, and all of a sudden all of the pressure and teeth grinding is going to just evaporate.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
You're welcome. All right, darling. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it.
You've been a great teacher to a lot of people out there who are thinking about heading to their lover's store.
Thank you.
Welcome. Great day. All right. The infamous producer, Robert.
Okie doke. Our next caller is going to be, let's see, let's go out of the country. Anne in England.
Anne in England, are you there?
Yes, I am, Andrew. Hello, everyone.
How are you doing today, Anne?
Yeah, pretty, it's interesting, but I'm going to go with good, and even better now.
Outstanding. So what did you want to talk about today?
Oh, Andrew, there's so much, actually. But I maybe following along the lines of this last caller with partners. There's also some stuff. There's been some synchronicities with the calling in. I guess that's to be expected with the cranial sacral work. And I believe we've spoken previously about me doing cranial sacral, and I just want to thank you immensely and say that it's been such an amazing experience, and some of the things that it has brought out and the glimpses working with the revocations has been truly incredible, with visions in being back inside of the womb and releasing a lot of tensions and getting the body going in a more grounded way.
So what would you say the biggest thing that the cranial sacral has done for you?
Oh, it's the biggest thing. There are two, can I do in two parts?
Sure.
So I've had repeated head trauma, and so it's been able for me to relax and have a more awareness of the tensions that were underlying in my body. I would class myself as someone who is reasonably aware because I do a lot of qigong and internal martial arts. So I have an awareness of that, but this has gone even deeper, and it's been able to release not only on a myofascial level, but I think also on a spiritual level in this time, and given me more glimpses in terms of visions of being inside of my mother's womb, but also on my perceived deathbed. It's quite, I wasn't expecting that, Andrew.
Did you have any teary breakdowns during the cranial sacral somatic release?
No, not as yet. What I had lots of sensations within my body, almost like a gentle vibration, and yeah, stuff like that, and hot and cold, and
Yeah. So that is the rearrangement of the fascia so that you
Mhm.
can get clarity from the previous head injuries you had. So there's going to come a time in your cranial sacral practice you're going to have what's called a somatic release. Have you heard that term before?
I believe I have.
That's where you have a teary breakdown just from them touching one particular point.
Okay, yeah, no, that definitely
What I'm
makes sense.
sensing is there's a head trauma, but whenever there's head trauma, there's trauma that's all done to the tailbone too. And part of your going to the fetus in the womb process is understanding there are some, let's just say, traumas to the female parts that aren't necessarily sexual traumas, but have a sexual trauma effect, having too many partners versus too few partners. There's a scenario where you may have, been in your life where you had many partners in 1 year, and that itself is the trauma because you're searching, and all that energy is building up and is being stored in your root.
I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And it's,
year.
like the previous person is you gotta find, make a list of the partners that you've had and make revocations for each and every one and give yourself an absolute clean slate. The memories are still there, the teachings are still there. You're just honoring it as a victory of not going back to the old ways.
That would be incredibly empowering right now to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, and it just takes some creativity and some little bit of mind power to go, well, who did I have in 2017? Who was in 2016? Oh boy, 2015 I might have been a little bit of a hussy. And don't judge yourself when you go back and look at who was and who wasn't. Okay? And it's not thumbs up, thumbs down. It's ultimately they're not in your life anymore. Are they?
No, it's about their relevance with these partners, more to do with this year, really, and the significance. And there've been some truly incredible experiences, and there's a real shift going on with me and my journey right now, and the speed at which it's happening is exponential. So I think I'm really wanting to look at clarity on being able to have clarity on figuring out which way to go, because there must be something in me with going with people who are not, how shall we say, able to be there fully.
Sovereign.
And yes, in a true, how shall we say, what's the word I'm looking for?
I get what you're saying. You're looking for a partner that already understands sacred sexuality and that you don't have to train them.
Oh God, please. No, I'm done with that. No.
So you gotta change your standards here and stop picking the strays up off the street.
Yes. I'm sitting
so you
in front of
you got to look inside the person in you who's picking strays up off the street, because there is a codependent side in you. Okay.
Yeah.
I started today's show about what codependency does. Be brutal with yourself. Are you codependent on a sexual relationship now at the age that you are? Do you need to get your bell rung 6 days a week?
Not necessarily 6 days a week.
4?
Yeah, that would be 4 to 3 would be quite pleasant. It's also that there needs to be some love there. That
obviously it's not just coming in with a jackhammer and
No. There's someone who can meet one on a spiritual level, who also has a technical skill, and because of, let's say, past practices or experience with working with a kind of more sacred Yab Young sort of situation. So being in form of sacred sexuality as well as technical skill. So if I may be so bold as maybe be crude, there's a wonderful combination for me with making love as well as having sex. and that balance is sometimes quite well. So any sort of partner that I have, it's I don't know how, it feels quite rare out there. I've had 2 partners who've been able to meet in that sort of way, but someone who is able to hold on a tantric level, shall we say.
So are these just male partners?
Yes, I've only had experience of male partners.
Is there some part of you that may need to seek a female partner because the male partners aren't technically skilled enough, and those males that are out there are already taken or in a situation where, let's say, they have an open relationship, but that's not something your soul can do, because I don't see you having any type of open relationship. I think it would destroy you in the long term. Sacred sexuality is sacred sexuality, not open relationship. That's completely opposite of each other.
Thank you for saying that. That's incredibly pertinent, Andrew.
There are far more women practitioners out there that are skilled in the technical skill of sex, okay? And then the romantic side, too. You may find a man that's romance, Mr. Romance, flowers, this, that, but he can't hold the pace. He can't deliver the service you're looking for. Okay? Sacred sexuality is about being of service to your partner, not a servant. Okay?
Understood.
So you need to truly look at your male relationships and go, made it this far, why didn't I look at the female relationships? Women that are already skilled in tantra, this and that.
Really never even entered my mind. Maybe on a subconscious level, I suppose, but no. They have this saying in England, I think, what do you say, throw the cat amongst the pigeons, but maybe that's a bit too much.
Yeah, it's not like you need to go out to a club and just start flaunting with women, no.
No, I think not. No. Don't get me wrong, I like to dance, okay? But no.
Yeah, that's different. Grinding with another girl, that's different.
Oh, yes.
That's putting a show on that gives you great pleasure. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But discovering a female partner for your first experience is going to be a challenge because you've only been seeking men. You also don't want to take on a woman project that's emotionally disturbed. There are many tantric practitioners out there that are great practitioners, but they're emotionally and sexually disturbed.
No, I've had my share of disturbed. I'm good, thank you. I'm not that. Agreed.
So you got to start making the ritual and ceremony of letting go of the old partners and bringing in the unlimited point of view for the next partner, be it male or female. Or crystal. Because they do carve, phalluses in the shape of crystals, and they have been doing that for centuries as their own masturbatory tools.
Now that's sounding very appealing. Okay.
As well as ones that are, 24 karat gold or gold plated or platinum plated or silver plated. So those are for you to go and search at the toy shops. Okay?
One can commission these things as well.
Right. No, they don't commission. They create them. You just Google crystal dildo. I'm going to be blunt on my own show, and you'll find all sorts of places that produce them. Smoky quartz, tourmaline, this, that, whatever you want. It's there.
Okay. That is. I was not aware of that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's a whole new use of crystal. I suppose there is, what do you call it, the lotus egg. Yes. Understood.
The lotus, exactly. Jade lotus eggs.
Yes.
That for women that don't understand what the jade lotus egg, it's where you learn to pick it up and put it down over and over again. So you strengthen your internal muscles. When you have a jade egg inside you, that is proving the jade frequency, ruby frequency, whatever it is that you're going to do. People should be, women should be using lapis lazuli. It's far more of a spiritual stone than jade.
Okay.
Now, I want to get back into the partner that you're looking for. So I'm really sensing that you've got somebody that is skilled, but they're not available in the way that you want.
Well, I took a vow not to lie. So, if I'm terribly honest, I think there's probably about two people that I've met thus far and that I've been with thus far who would fit that description. One in this country and one who is not in this the country that I'm in.
Okay, and you know that they're unavailable, and yet you're still pining for them.
Yes, correct. And this is what I'm trying to look at to make sure I'm not bringing this into this new season, shall we say, or time and space.
So you need to write a revocation that stops you from pining from something you can't have, because that's the 13-year-old girl running you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Noted and agreed.
Yeah. And the next level here is once you've created that revocation for pining for something that you can't have, you get to create an invocation for what you want now. Then you get to separate what a want and a need is. Then you get to separate what a want and need and a desire is. So there's multiple layers of expression of what it is you need now, what it is you need a week from now, what it is you need in a companion 10 years from now.
God, this pining thing's really quite strong. I have a serious, almost physical reaction to that. That's really quite interesting.
Yeah, you're getting the full-on body going, well, this program's not going to get erased. It's too old.
Well, that as well as, oh my, no, Andrew, this is energetically so powerful. I'm sure you can feel this, but the thing is with this is also there's a little grasping, if I may use I've already used the term, so that's fine. Okay, well, with doing a revocation of no longer pining after this person, that obviously doesn't mean that I don't still love them, but I'm not trying to still hold that hook in place.
Yes.
Am I correct to think that way?
Yes, you're taking the charge and polarity out for future pining. All pining is storing charge and polarity for later argument, for a later needing, so that your dream world fantasizes and engages in astral sex. That's what pining is doing.
That would make sense. Thank you. Understood.
Yeah. So the next level here is once you get pining out of it, that gives you 60% of your sexual frustration gone and gives you a whole new layers of sexual progress for you. Okay? Just taking that out of your signature frequency might make Mr. Right appear. Pow! There he is. Tantra master with muscles out the yazoo who can flip you up and twirl you around.
All right, listen, you need to stop that now, let me tell you. Yes. I would just have to go with noted and agreed with that, and understood.
The pining one will be one. It's not something you're just going to break in one moment. It's going to challenge you over the next couple weeks. Because you're going to realize there's quite a few more you're pining after.
Just that reaction was really quite. That was quite interesting and quite strong. It's it's also quite interesting with what just happened earlier on tonight. With that was intriguing. Yeah. Okay.
So one thing for you to start working in your own martial arts practice, yoga practice, is during the practice itself, you add a new little routine where you're going to reach into your feminine areas and start pulling out energy like a clown that keeps pulling out cloth over and over and over again, or a magician that keeps pulling cloth over and over and over and over again. And you just pull and pull and pull all of the old energy from the old men out.
That's a very interesting visualization, Andrew. Let me tell you, that is powerful. I'm quite good at visualization. So yeah, that's that's doable. Definitely can do that.
Okay, you can then put it in a fire, throw it into a candle, throw it into a box of salt. There's all sorts of things you can ground it so it doesn't come back. because you're pining, and a very subtle, just out of your level of awareness is exchanging energy with these guys still.
Yeah, no, that's not healthy. Thank you.
Yeah. And they're still adding. I mean, there are many men who have sexual fantasies about you. I'll be brutal here. It's all over your energy field. You're an extremely wanted woman.
Okay.
All right, so when I look at your body, it's not only your breast, your butt, your legs, your face, your entire aura. It's got sexual projections all over it of ownership by somebody else who's never actually physically and energetically been with you. And then the men who have been energetically with you, that you melted their mind during the sexual process, but you're not with them anymore because they're immature. They're still masturbating about you and owning you and dominating you in their little fantasies.
No. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Continue on with the cleansing.
That's the next level of revoking those that you have previously had engagement with and those who've never had an engagement with but are still getting their freak on with you.
Okay, this is incredibly helpful, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
My God. By the way, there's so many things. There's so many. And also infinite thanks to you and your callers and your team. I mean, the revocations and the cleansing has truly shifted so much. I mean, there's so much clarity kind of going on when you do the revocations. It was pretty much, I'd go up along the lines of mind-blowing and the synchronicities and visions that appear. I'm intrigued.
Intrigued to the new level. So of the contract revocations, which one has been the most potent for you when you use it?
The one that, well, actually the consciousness strike. My gosh, that's incredible. One of my, beautiful, incredible friends. I'm very blessed to have wonderful people around me. I'm so grateful, and amazing teachers. But they recommended the consciousness strike for me, and that's just that alone. But also there's one with the government revocations, because some of the places that I frequent because of work and extracurricular activities with different, for instance, Dharma Buddhist groups, religious groups, because I deal a lot with sacred objects. Is been the use of sacred geometry, and there was, can I go off on a tangent?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so it was there was this one program, I can't remember how long ago. It was to do with, you mentioned this with going into museums and all of these objects being placed in them, and people were harvesting. Meaning the buildings and the way they were built. It was also used as a collection of the people's energy when they interact with these objects. Do you recall this?
Yes, I do very much recall that one.
Okay, because I wasn't too sure whether I was explaining myself properly. So because of that one with the revocation with government and my family, and their connection, and I guess maybe family crests and working with different sorts of sectors, that's been really that's become more and more clear, as well as me trying to find a way of strategically and working in these sorts of environments and going into these sorts of buildings. And I realized that there's a real pull for me to be in these places. Or there's a real karma that seems to be happening with me being drawn, or for some reason, I have to go to this particular place that is to do with government or to do with a sacred or religious site or a heritage site. Am I explaining myself?
I'm fully understanding. I have a lot of people who do similar stuff, whether they're museum curators or art curators or work for a government museum, so on and so forth, and they feel the same thing, and they've done very similar applications to you. early in 2013, I spoke a lot about family crests and how destructive they can be and how they can pass on cursing energy. And the family crest I talk about in the government, banking, and media. It's important that you start looking where family crests are, who are the owners of particular museums that you may work at or facilities you go, and there's a family crest up there, and you make revocations specifically for these family crests. You can box them all into one, or if there's one big family crest you know you really work through a lot, they're the benefactors, whatever. You make your own private revocation so they can no longer entangle and exchange energy in your unseen world.
I can't believe I've never not thought about that. Yeah, that's a kind of the no-brainer. Yeah, point done. God, I've got a lot of homework. This is good. Thank you.
So the cool part about that homework is you get to outcreate a sacred geometry crest.
Well,
you can beat. They're so easy to beat. So easy to beat.
You have this is so reassuring. Oh gosh, there's another thing. What happens when you are the one who actually has the family crest?
Are you the sole heir to the family crest?
No, not the sole heir, and I'm not a male, so yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're male or female in the energy world. So if you're not the sole heir, and most of the time there's other heirs that are out there, you just don't know that they're there. But if you were the sole heir, it would be different. But because there are other members to the family, what you can do is create a here, I'll just give the description that I have for it. So you'll surround yourself with a disco ball around your head, and another disco ball around your whole body, and then a third disco ball around your feet. So a disco ball around your head, a disco ball around your feet, and a disco ball that encompasses your whole auric body, each going in a different direction. Each of those disco balls has 10,000 different mirrors reflecting back everything that the family crest is projecting on you to the original creator of the family crest or curse.
Wow. Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting a flavor of that.
Yeah, and you can make more and more disco balls all around your private center, energy centers, your heart chakra, your crown, your third eye, your sacred feminine areas, each having their own individual disco ball that reflects back laser focused targeted distortions.
Yeah, I'm almost setting this up like I could set this up like this, the whole mandala, no? So, okay.
Yeah, it's a mind construct that can stay in place. It's just a matter of empowering it.
Okay. Well,
right.
This is quite poignant, especially do you have time?
Sure. Go ahead.
So there was a bit of fear when I got, I guess, a young teenager. Just was also observing in terms of family crests, family curses, or let's say DNA characteristics or karma, or depending on how you wish to, what terminology or grammar one wants to use. There was also this thing with, for instance, my father having a mental, manic depression. On my father's side, his sister ended up, nervous breakdowns, strokes, and also his younger, his brother as well. So what I'm saying is that there was also part of me who was thinking, oh well, this is quite strong. Is this something that ends up being inevitable? And I got into doing a particular type of Vajrayana Buddhist practice, which helps to alleviate any sort of mental illness, because there was a fear that would happen to me.
So fear is one thing, genetics are another. Yes. So part of clearing the fear is understanding there is a root genetic cause, and the family crest has been impressed onto your DNA that is a potential, and it just takes fear to activate that potential. So the next layer here is doing your own psychic surgery on the DNA. And the way you do this is as you have the disco ball in your crown and in your feet, and then the other one, you're going to see a DNA spiral come out of your feet and come out of your crown. So a white spiral coming out of your feet, going up, creating the double helix, and then a red spiral going up and a white spiral going down in the opposite direction. And this will allow you to, where you come together in the heart and the solar plexus, to bring your third eye as part of the DNA surgery process to look for the individual rung that has been impressed by the family crest to make that a potential of fear activation. And it's an actual rung in the DNA that you can literally remove that DNA rung of fear and activation of mental depression and anything else that's under there, liver disease, all that stuff. Because all that is passing debt forward into the future, so a magical practitioner in the past doesn't have to deal with the negative ailments they created from negative magic. That's what a family crest does. Puts the debt, the actual physical harsh debt on the future generations.
I hear what you're saying. Understood.
Yeah. Now, DNA surgery is not hard. It's visualization, and it's a coming to a knowingness that there is one rung that you simply have to remove. And it will not harm you, because that's the harmful projected rung.
Yes.
As soon as you were born and you came through the forgetting of the birth canal, the laser targeted focus of the family crest altered your DNA. And you have the sovereign right and legacy to your natural co-creative process.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting 2018, Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So let me ask you a question. So in your journeys with sacred artifacts and so on, have you run across artifacts that talk to you?
Not on a, how shall we say, not on a hearing through the airs sort of way.
Mind talk?
But yeah, there's a resonance, there's a talk, there's an exchange. I also talk to them, talk to the objects, and yeah.
So here's something for you to do as an end of the year ritual. You want to look at the entirety of all the sacred objects you've touched and or worked with during your career. And you need to break every contract, vow, and agreement with everyone, even the positive and the negative ones, every single one. Because if it's truly meant to be in your frequency, it will not end. If it's truly unconditional love and the object's fully empowered, it will continue to do the benefits by giving them back their power to be sacred objects.
Okay.
Now, I have a lot of people that come to me that are art curators or work at museums, and their objects haunt them after a while. And I have a feeling that there are a handful of objects that are haunting you and you don't even realize it.
Oh, some of them, yeah, that I've got goosebumps all over me right now, and I'm actually sitting in front of the fire. What am I saying? Yes, that's something one can definitely do, and that very much rings. There's a resonance.
And do you have to do it before the end of the year? No. But it's just good practice to do it before the end of the year. So 2018 begins without that frequency holding you in stagnation or back or putting energy into you that isn't yours.
There is so much. There is so many. There are so many. This is okay. Yeah, and I haven't been doing that housekeeping, so I will do. Yeah.
So I have a lot of doctors that come and see me too. And about 6 weeks ago, I worked on a session with a doctor who, before he got very ill with cancer, and then the hospital said, go off and die, there's nothing we can do. And he started then seeking alternative means. Part of his healing was he had to let go of the 27,000 patients he had done in 33 years.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. That's all right. Mine is a shorter list. Okay. So that's doable. Fine.
You don't have 27,000 car accident victims because he worked at an emergency trauma center. But every object you worked with, 100 or 500, you got to let them all go. Every one of them. And you don't need to name every individual one. The top 20 are cool. And then lump everything else into one big, massive yard sale and get it out of your frequency in a very positive, sacred ceremony that says, I'm giving them back their sovereignty. I'm taking my sovereignty back and saying, I no longer need to exchange object energy with these objects. I was paid to service them for whatever my job was. Now I must be prepared for 2018 and the new sets of objects that are going to come.
And there's some incredible stuff coming.
Yes. And be surprised, you will clear out those old stuff and huge contracts might come to you because they were being blocked by those in the old ones in your energy frequencies.
As always, it's very interesting you mentioned that. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I have lots of homework. Thank you. Wow.
Well, Anne, it has been great talking to you. I must let you go. I look forward to talking to you again. You are a uniquely special person. Thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. This has been our last show for the year 2017. Hope is officially dead. The aliens aren't coming down to rescue you. The revaluation of the currency isn't coming. And nothing is happening tomorrow. Get out there and do your sacred ceremonies and make it happen for yourself. Everyone, stop on by andrewbartzis.com, download some of the insights, do the contract revocations. And just because it's the 21st today doesn't mean you can't do your solstice ceremony on the 27th or the 29th or even the 1st of January. Time is only relative to the observer. It's the intention behind it, the heart space behind it. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll be back at the new year. So we'll be doing live shows and continuing these incredible shows with Andre. All right, Robert, take us away.